Well, good morning. It is time again for Friday's Heroes and Employee of the Week, and today we have a Good Samaritan as well. I want to say again thank you to the media for coming every week and letting us tell the story of the great men and women in Albuquerque who serve you as public servants and who serve as ambassadors out in our community, and today's no exception. So today we have kind of an Employee of the Week, Friday's Heroes combined. As you see, we have not police or fire today, we have transit security who provide this. So we're combining those two today, and then we have Vickie Fisher, who's here to get our Good Samaritan Award. So today we're going to recognize transit security officers Shannon, Beltz, Ron Brown, and Alonso, Cano for collectively responding to an unconscious patron on a bus. So let's tie this in a little bit to the overall picture. This week we talked about downtown security, we talked about the Alvarado Transportation Center, we've talked about a safety corridor on Central Avenue with the new ART line going in, and we consistently talk about making sure that transit is a place where you can be safe. And these men and women go out every day and they work really hard to make sure that our transit system is a safe place. But it's more than just that, and this is a story about what happens when someone on the bus experiences a medical emergency. In this case, the individual did not survive. But we want to tell you about this story and about what these brave individuals did. On March 23rd of this year, which is a Saturday, security officers Beltz, Brown, and Cano were on duty at the Alvarado Transportation Center on 1st and Central Avenue. About 3 o'clock in the afternoon, a passenger on the bus notified the driver of a fellow passenger who was experiencing a seizure and had become unconscious. So the bus driver quickly parked the bus across from Alvarado to assess the situation. Once stopped, a concerned passenger exited the bus, entered the center, and noticed that Officer Cano was in the north lobby and notified him about the unconscious passenger. Officer Cano then radioed Officers Beltz and Brown, who were on duty nearby at the center. Without hesitation, these officers ran out to the bus. Once on board, Officer Cano addressed the man and determined that the patron was not breathing and did not have a pulse, unfortunately. But he immediately began CPR while Officers Beltz and Brown safely cleared the other passengers from the bus. Officer Cano continued to perform CPR until paramedics arrived and transported the man to the hospital. As I said earlier, unfortunately, even with the best medical care and quick response, this individual did not survive and had a massive heart attack and passed away. But paramedics later told the security officers that if they had not performed CPR, the passenger would have had no chance at all. And because of that, the passenger actually had an opportunity to survive. So this isn't the first time that Officer Cano has intervened to help a patron in need. This past January, a customer became unconscious and fell inside the lobby bathroom at the transit center. Once Officer Cano was notified, he performed CPR again, reviving that man until he became conscious again. Officers Cano and Brown have been on ABQ Ride team since November of 2014, while Officer Beltz joined the division back in 2011. So as Albuquerque's principal form of public transportation, ABQ Ride, and Bruce Rosieri, who's our leader there, logs an average of 160,000 passenger miles on its buses every day. Every single day. Each security officer is out there to keep you safe. They take swift action when it's necessary, and for these reasons, Officers Brown, Cano, and Beltz are being recognized as our Employees of the Week, and also, as our Friday's Heroes for this week. I'm going to have Bruce Rosieri talk to you a little bit about some brief remarks, and then we're going to give some mugs and some certificates out. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Pulse Point today as well, even though Chief Downey's not here from the fire department. Bruce?
Mayor, thank you very much.
Thank you.
As the mayor said, this is a team response to a situation. First, from the bus driver. I also want to point out the concern for a fellow passenger on the bus, and then the training that these officers have gone through and the supervision by the sergeants and the chief here have paid off. Don't always like to go to training, obviously, but the CPR has been a required part of the training for 20-some years. And this is why. We're out there for safety and also for responsiveness like this until emergency personnel can arrive. So thank you, officers. I appreciate your efforts and appreciate the leadership of the team here. And I appreciate, obviously, the leadership of the mayor, Had a program several years ago where every city employee went to CPR training, and this is why. You never know when something's going to be happening, and we want to be prepared. So, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you so much. And what we'll do for each of our folks today, let me see whose this is. So this is Alonso. This is for Alonso Cano, Transit Department. It says, on behalf of the entire city of Albuquerque, I, Richard J. Berry, Mayor of Albuquerque, thank you for your public service and your dedication. Your actions exceeded the call of duty and went beyond normal expectations. So for the entire week of July 10th, 2017, you are entitled to all the privileges set forth by the office of the mayor office of the mayor as employee of the week. We also have a letter for the personnel file, and we have a coffee mug so you can stay on your toes with caffeine. And then this is what I was talking about. So this is also our Friday's Heroes coin. So normally we do employees of the week and we do Friday's Heroes separately, but because you're in the business of safety, we're also going to give each one of these individuals one of our mayor's coins that says Mayor's Public Safety Heroes Award. It talks about police, fire, and emergency management. And this is one of those unique exceptions where we're going to give one of these coins to someone who's not a sworn APD officer or a firefighter, but you're out there every day keeping us safe, so we want to make sure that we do that. So let me just hand these off here. We'll go through the process of giving all the other certificates in just a few moments. But I want to say thank you to each and every one of these individuals. We are in the process right now of adding some additional security officers to this force. They could use the help, and we want them to have the help. And so we're going to be doing that over the coming months. And by the time ART gets going, we're hopeful to have some more officers on duty as well. And I just appreciate you very much. And we want to tell people too about Pulse Point. So Pulse Point is a free app that you can download on your cell phone. I have it on my cell phone, and it is a system where if you are certified as a CPR person, and you can now get certified for CPR in about a 45-minute training class. Dr. Ramo does a great job. The American Red Cross does a great job. It's not hard to get trained on this hands-only CPR. I've taken the training myself personally as a mayor. And if you do that, you can get on Pulse Point. And what Pulse Point will do is it will notify you on your cell phone if APD gets a dispatch of an emergency situation within a certain distance of you, like a quarter of a mile. And what that allows us to do is that allows us to have civilians get to the scene, even if it's 30 seconds ahead or a minute or two ahead of the emergency response teams to start CPR. It really does matter, and we're one of a number of cities around the country that has Pulse Point. So this CPR training that we put all of our city employees through gives an opportunity to save lives as well. So I've got a different app pulled up here for our next thing, but check out Pulse Point as a community and get out there and get yourself trained on CPR. It could save a family member, it could save a neighbor, it could save a friend, and in this case we have our security officers who use that training to do the best they could in a difficult situation. So we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Stick around. So I want to introduce you to a bona fide hero in our community, Vickie Fisher. This is a Good Samaritan Award today, and we are honoring Vickie Fisher for her exceptional dedication to a local nonprofit called Albuquerque Kennel Kompadres, and the compassion that she has shown for a long time for animals at the City of Albuquerque's Animal Welfare Department. So for us to get where we want to be as a compassionate city for animals, and we have made extraordinary progress over the last 8 years, and I'll give you some statistics to tell you exactly why I say that in a few minutes. You have to have dedicated staff. You have to have folks like Desiree, who nominated Vickie for this, who's our Animal Welfare Department Public Information Officer. You got to have folks like Paul Castor. You've got to have the dedicated men and women at the department. But you also have to have community activism. You have to have people out there who are making it their business to make sure that that support network is there, and as importantly, the resources are there. And no one has done that more than Vickie Fisher. She has dedicated her life to serve all the animals who find themselves in our shelters. In 2002, Vickie founded the Albuquerque Kennel Kompadres as an effort to help dogs, cats, and everything in between find their forever home. Over the years, Kennel Kompadres has become a principal partner with the City of Albuquerque's Animal Welfare Department. The sole purpose of this organization is to advance the work of animal welfare by encouraging the humane treatment and care of pets and sheltered animals and promoting the city's support of positive animal population management. So that's a lot of science behind that, but let's just make sure that we have less animals being born out in the community without a home. This is accomplished through the spay-neuter program and the accelerated adoption of city animals at our city shelters. Sorry about the frog here. Vickie and her staff work closely with the Animal Welfare Department to identify the most important and urgent needs of Albuquerque's pet population. So every day, depending on the time of year, there is somewhere between 500 and 1,000 animals under the care of the Animal Welfare Department. What's the number these days?
725.
725 as of this morning. Based on an average length of stay of about 20 days in our shelters, the department spends the $500 to care for just one of these sheltered animals. So you think about that. Think about the thousands of animals that come through. Think about $500. So that's a lot of care that goes into these animals. Because of Vickie's leadership and the charitable donations made to Albuquerque's Kennel Kompadres, they have helped support the Animal Welfare Department in these programs. Kennel Kompadres has successfully accumulated enough donations to fund the spay-neuter voucher program for low and moderate income pet owners in the city. The program has been critical to reducing the number of stray animals without homes throughout the city. And our trap, neuter, release program has combined powerfully with the Animal Welfare Department's other efforts, especially their foster care program, to improve the medical care and reduce the suffering and killing of cats in the city of Albuquerque. So here's where the proof's in the numbers. Before our department began our trap, neuter, release program, that did not come without some controversy.
No.
City animal shelters had a euthanasia rate of about 72%. So 7 out of 10 animals that came in, cats in particular, that came in our shelters were euthanized. As recently as 2011, our animal shelters were receiving about 9,800 cats a year. In the past year, it was 5,078 cats, a decrease of 48%, and we received 4,200 kittens in 2011, and we've cut that almost in half. In 2016, it was only 2,300. So that's a lot of numbers. What does that mean? It means that these programs work. We're using the best practices, the best science available, and our compassionate advocates in the community to help fund things that actually work. So they also do the dog ball, which we have a blast at every year. I have the least behaved dog there, Skip. He's a Jack Russell terrorist, and he's a chore when he comes to the thing. But he has a blast.
He has a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll apologize to Skip for when I get home. Through Vickie's vigorous efforts, approximately $18,000 was raised during last year's event, and they've generated about $175,000 over the past 7 years. I mean, just let's give it a round for that.
Yes.
So Vickie's creative insight and strong work ethic have directly influenced the charitable organization's bottom line, successfully enriching lives in the conditions of Albuquerque's rescued animals. As president of the organization, Vickie has realized many accomplishments for the benefit of rescued animals. From its inception, Vickie took what was once a fledgling humane education program to one that has contributed over $485,000 over the past 5 years toward the protection and enrichment of sheltered animals, of which $270,000 has gone directly to the Animal Welfare Department spay-neuter voucher program. So that's $270,000 of your tax dollars that didn't have to go to this important work. So her work goes great. She dovetails nicely with the City of Albuquerque the department. She's done it well. She's also a great partner to all of our other partners in the community and the City of Albuquerque, and that's why she's being recognized as our Good Samaritan. So from 2009 to 2017, so when I took office till today, the shelter has decreased euthanasia rates by 86.2%. So from 2009 till today, the shelter decreased euthanasia by 86.2% and saw a 40% reduction in intake and increased our live release rate of our animals by 31%. That's extraordinary work. So if you've forgotten, 9 months ago we announced this ABQ Kindness app, so I want to once again plug that. We're going to give you an award today, but what I'm also going to do is I'm going to share this act of kindness. So you are now part of the 1 million acts of kindness. You can download this kindness app for free. Tell our security guards, tell people on the bus they can, if you want them to be a little kinder, download the kindness app and start sharing acts of kindness in our community. So Vickie, look, I just want to say thank you as a mayor, as an animal lover myself, as someone who's really enjoyed being the mayor of this community. So much of what I enjoy about this job, and there's a lot of things, none more than when I see people in our community like Vickie stepping up, being passionate, being useful, being effective, and really bringing in the resources that we need to do great work. And I know you're probably not expecting to speak. I'm going to have Paul say something, but if you want to say something, I'll let you say something as well. So Paul, you want to introduce your friend here?
Yeah, this is Sunflower, and she's one of the 725 we have in our shelters today. But she's a testament to kind of what Vickie does for us. So one of the things that Vickie's really good about is helping us with beds. And nobody thinks about that, but if you have to lay on hard concrete floor and you're 10 years old as a dog, the arthritis starts to hurt really, really bad. So what she does is she helps us buy these beds because they're pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And the fundraising she does pays for that. And now the dogs have a warm, soft place to sleep. Another thing that's been real good is the enrichment, because she buys toys for us, and those toys keep them happy while they're locked up in solitary confinement for 20 days or longer. Baby, you don't need that. But we just want to say thank you, Vickie, because over $1 million in 14 years for the shelters is just incredible. You've done wonderful things for us. Anytime we call and ask, she says, okay, let's find a way. And it's just made our life much easier. So thank you very much.
It's been my pleasure.
Yep. Vickie, why don't you say a couple of words, and I'll give you the award here. So.
Well, you know, it's certainly you know, I feel I just kind of write the checks and, you know, learn a bunch of things about essential oils and how to buy towels and beds and stuff for animals and dog toys. It's really the staff and the volunteers, an incredible group of volunteers that really are responsible for the wonderful things that have happened in Albuquerque shelters over the recent years. And I have to say, and not because he's about to give me an award, but a lot of progress has been made under Mayor Berry. And I have been around the shelter for many, many years, and I have seen an incredible improvement and a level of dedication from the staff and volunteers that this community should be really proud of. This shelter, the Animal Welfare Department in the city of Albuquerque, is a model. It truly is a model around the country for how you do things right to take care of the abandoned animals in your community. And so I want to thank Mayor Berry for his leadership, certainly Paul, the wonderful folks at Animal Welfare Department, both the volunteers and the staff. They're the ones who should all be getting an award. They have just done an amazing job, and I'm proud to have been a part of it.
So Vickie, thank you so much. So coffee mug for you as well.
Oh yeah, I love coffee.
And the Samaritan Award, it says, this certificate is awarded to Vickie Fisher on behalf of the entire city of Albuquerque. I, Richard J. Berry, Mayor of Albuquerque, thank you for your dedication to the citizens of our community. And I should read animals.
They're citizens too.
Yeah, animals.
You have been granted this award because you have displayed an extraordinary level of care and compassion caring for your fellow neighbor.
Oh, thank you.
And it's signed by me this date.
Super.
And it really comes with a grateful heart for all that you do. And I mean, you're just look at the positive energy coming from this woman. She's amazing, and we appreciate you every day. And then we know that you're going to work with the next administration to keep it going in the right direction. And she's not going anywhere. So we thank you so much, and give you a nice round of applause. So.